Let's take a look now at philosophy scenario 4. Rafael recently evaluated his driver's education textbook and was disillusioned at how out of date it was. His textbook was written in the 1990s, and many of the laws and ideas have changed since. Many student copies were damaged, and he isn't sure if there are enough copies of non damaged books for his students. In addition, school policy dictates that students must check a book out of the library to take home. Class sets are not allowed to go home for any reason. Let's take a look at some of the ways in which digital online resources can be better than textbooks. So let's take a look here. So if we do a simple search here, you can find when it comes to driver's education, a lot of curriculum sometimes free online. So for example, here if we click on this link here, it takes us to a PDF that shows us some driver's education curriculum from Maryland. When you are dealing with online resources like this, they're much it's much easier to update a website rather than a or a web page rather than a textbook. It takes a lot. Textbook requires printing costs and time, and it's a lot less work, and it's a lot easier to update this rather than wait for a new edition of the textbook to come out. In addition, you can add a lot of supplemental information that may not be in the textbook. So, for example, I'm thinking back to my experience with driver's education. We had a book that we followed, but again, some stuff that somebody can do some research on and add as on the textbook is an example here. I remember watching the video called Red Asphalt, which was some videos that were showing us the dangers of not being safe when you're behind the wheel and what could happen to you. This is something that's supplemental. It's not in a textbook, but you can easily find this online. In addition, you can find multiple sources that you can compare and contrast and do some fact checking. So, for example, here we looked here first at from Maryland. If we click to do some more research, you can find what some of the driver's education curriculum looks like in California. So you can compare and contrast from state to state, and that's something that you can't get traditionally out of a textbook. Um, these different and varied sources. In addition, I mean, when you're using a Google search, you have a vast amount of information, much more than a textbook can contain, and it's accessible from almost anywhere. You're able to access this information from any internet connected device, whether it be a phone, a tablet, or a computer.